Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Chill Code Corner. I'm Cordy.
And I'm Joy.
And today we're going to talk about a topic that I'm constantly talking about, which is imposter syndrome. And to just kind of start it off so we know exactly what it is, the definition for it is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. And I'll do the next sentence. This is a good one. Despite external evidence of their competence, those experiencing this phenomenon remain convinced that they are frauds and they do not deserve all that they have achieved. I mean,
Wow.
me all day sometimes.
Wow.
I mean, I've been getting better at it, but yeah. I definitely feel
Really?
like constant imposter syndrome for sure.
Wow. Why do you feel like that? Because, I mean, I look at you and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so smart. I mean, this girl has a master's degree, okay? How is she having imposter syndrome? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, the two just doesn't equate. So, I don't know. Let me ask you, where's the fear of lack coming from?
I think a part of it is personality. Like I'm definitely a perfectionist, so anything that I do I feel like isn't good enough. And then like kind of also how I was raised growing up in like a Caribbean household in which like they were very much about grades and being perfect in like almost every aspect of your life, not just academics. I think that contributed to it. So I definitely ended up setting expectations for myself that hinder more than help. I mean, they do help, like, you know, obviously having goals and like things like that. But I definitely feel that imposter syndrome, especially when I'm doing something new. So like when I was getting into the coding and stuff like that, and it being just a completely different language, you know, it's like you drop someone in the middle of a foreign country and they don't speak the language.
And you gotta figure out how to get from point A to point B.
Exactly.
Like, I know how to read the signs. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so like I just feel like that alone probably exuberated that imposter syndrome that I already kind of struggle with a little bit. Just I feel like I know it's not realistic to think that you're going to master something or be absolutely perfect at something. But I approach things with the idea that I want to be a master. So like until I'm at that point where I'm like all knowing.
So are you over analytical?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I like just overanalyze my response.
And guys, I've noticed this about her. So like for this year, I had to like coin this phrase, right? So this is a phrase that we use when we work together. It's work to completion, not perfection. Exactly. You know, and sometimes it's more about just getting it done, getting the process done. But I mean, you can't deny how you feel. You know, so I would ask you this. Where do you feel, or what areas do you feel confident in? Like, oh, I know how to do this. Like, I know how to ride a bike. Okay, I'm good. I can get on a bike. I can ride a bike. Like, I'm good at that. What areas do you feel you are confident in?
You know, I don't know if there's like a specific area that I feel confident. Like, for example, like when I have a client, like I'm very confident that I'm going to be able to give them the best product that they'll probably ever get. If they were to go to anyone else, I know that my work and what I provide to them is like of a quality and that like I'm very confident in. But like getting to that point and like what goes on behind the scenes, I'm like freaking out about a little bit. Over analyzing, over researching, just like dotting and triple dotting my P's and on my eyes and all those, all that stuff. So it's not necessarily like one specific area that I'm confident. I think I'm overall a pretty confident person, especially when it comes to presenting my work. It's just getting to present my work up until that point.
Wow.
You know?
I know how you feel. I definitely know how you feel.
Have you ever like experienced imposter syndrome?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I mentioned before that I started as a graphic designer. So I was always critical of my work. I'm like, listen, if my stuff don't look like Vogue magazine or Elle Mag, I can't put it out there. And then I would show it to someone and they'd be like, Joy, this is amazing. You did this. And do you know what I would do immediately after that? I would knock it down. Like, how could you say that? Why are you saying it? Look, I never gave myself enough credit.
Yes.
And it's interesting, and I think it's an important topic to talk about, because this is something that we do subconsciously, you know, and sometimes we do it so effortlessly, it becomes a part of our viewpoints of ourselves, or just our daily habits, and it directly affects how we do things.
Absolutely.
How we move, how we're able to progress, because we're our own worst critic.
Absolutely.
So I really had to do, it's funny because I was working at a company one time, and my boss said to me, he's like, you know, Joy, at some point your work is going to have to see the light of day. And I looked up and I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to put it out there, you know. And I just kept thinking, no, it has to be revised, and it really doesn't. So I even use the phrase work to completion, not for perfection. And it really hones in, because, you know, you can always go back and edit.
Yes, you can always
go back and fix it. You can always go back and revise it. Yes. You know, it can just be an evolution, a project that just has different evolutions, which is fine. But put it out there. Put
it out there. That's so important. Wow. I mean, the mantra that we say about that has really helped me too, because at the end of the day, like, if you are going to present a website or a PSD to a client, they're going to have like critiques and like edits for that thing. So you trying to present them with something that's not going to need any editing is unrealistic.
Okay. So is this it, that when you do your mock-ups for your website, that you feel like any critique is a personal hit to you, as to say, well, you didn't design this well enough? Is that how
I would say that it's more like I should have seen that kind of thing.
So you're really
I should have
hard
caught
on
that.
Yourself.
I am very hard on myself. Wow. I definitely experienced a lot of that, you know, for sure. Yeah. Okay. It's like, why didn't I see that? Oh, they're totally right. And it's like, you're unique. Like everyone is going to see something very different from how you see it. So
I think the thing to take away from that is to give yourself some lee room, man. Give yourself some leeway to make errors, you know, that it's okay. And honestly, I've learned that mistakes can be your best teachers, even more so than getting it right, you know. So once you get it wrong, you'll see, you know, the error in what you did, and the process is nothing to be shortchanged, because the process of fixing something, or taking it from a mistake into turning it into something that's presentable, you know, there's meat in that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's what gives you your confidence. That's what you know, attributes to your building blocks. Exactly. You know, and gets you out there to represent your work better, you know, and be able to testify. And
like yourself. You said, like, I have a master, so it's not like I can't or won't be producing work that is of a quality and of a level. Absolutely. You know, so like just being confident and knowing that I already have the skills and I already have like the experiences to pull from, to know that if I do run into and most of it too is like running into problems. Like, okay, if I do run into a problem, do I have the resources or the experience or the knowledge to meet that problem head on? Like fix it and then be able to move past that and be off even better, you know, not have it hinder me. So like just knowing that, and that, like we said, all comes from confidence. And also like part of the imposter syndrome is not feeling like worthy, I think too. Like I know before I met you, it was really difficult as a independent contractor to go out there and get clients, you know, like on my own and stuff like that. But then since I met you, it's definitely helped with my confidence in terms of knowing that, you know, there are other people out here doing exactly what I'm doing, that are going through like the same like ideas that I'm going through, and struggles, and still putting themselves out there and still trying to make something happen. And like, as much as I'm like a cheerleader for you, and I'm like, oh, I'm always telling you, I'm like, Joe, you're good. I'm like, you got this. Like, what are they telling you now? So like being like a cheerleader for you, it's hard to like internalize that and be a cheerleader for myself. Wow. So like, I think that's a big thing too. And once I've become to realize that I am worthy of like going out and getting clients and getting a certain caliber of clients that reinforces that confidence and helps me continue to grow and kill the imposter syndrome. Wow. I know there's like plenty of people out there that have felt the same way, especially in the code school.
Okay.
Like after I graduated, I can tell you how many people I like kept in contact with and reached out to back and forth, and they were going through the same thing. They're like, have you applied to any jobs? What did you put on your resume? How did you interact with these clients? Because they're feeling like, I don't know enough or can't do enough to go out there, So we're all going through it for sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it was more about being confident in what I do know.
Okay.
Being overconfident in what I do know.
Yeah, that's a great place to start.
That would kind of make up for the lack in what I didn't know but was learning.
Yes.
So I'm always in the process of learning, and as long as you're open for that, and I think the thing too with web development, and I kind of found this more in web development than I did in graphic design.
Okay.
So as a graphic designer, I felt like people were critical, but they weren't, how do you say it, giving...
like being judgmental?
Well, not judgmental per se, but it wasn't constructive criticism.
I see. Okay.
It was more, I don't like that. Instead of, well, why don't you try putting it here, and kind of encouraging so that I could grow and build on my design. So I spent a lot of time figuring things out on my own, and it felt, that was a lonely place to be in.
Yes.
I even had coworkers, and it's funny in the world of web development or even graphic designers. Some graphic designers are really, touchy about their work. Like they don't want to share their work, because they put in the time to go to school and they are not sharers. And I'm like, guys, we learned this in kindergarten, okay? Sharing is caring. Share. The more you pour into me would be the more that I pour in. But I just didn't find that in that industry at all, and it was really lonely. But I will say this: as I moved on to become a web developer, the great thing about it now is that we have online resources. So I don't need your opinion, but so exactly. I could literally go to Google, go to W3's, what is it?
Stack Overflow.
Stack Overflow. I mean, there's so many online resources and tools that I could use to get the answer.
Yeah.
But what I also found is, as I ventured out into the community to find other women that were doing this, that they were so willing to help me.
Yeah.
And I found Cordy.
Connecting is important.
Yeah, I mean, overly helpful. They were like, sure, you need anything? Call me up. Sure, not a problem.
Yeah.
And that was reassuring.
Yes.
That I wouldn't be stuck.
Yes.
Because I know when I got my first client, I was worried about what if I couldn't do it, or what if I get stuck on something and I don't know how to figure it out.
Solve the problem.
Right. So now I might say the same question, but I have a ton of resources to go to, and I just know that the answer's out there. So it alleviates the fear factor a bit, and kind of helps me charter through. So.
Yes, exactly. Knowing that you don't know is the first step.
Okay.
And it helps really alleviate a lot of that pressure you're putting on yourself. I can definitely attest to that, because now that I know that I have resources, I have people in my corner, it just makes me not feel like I'm not good enough to accomplish something, or if I do run into a problem, I won't be able to just knock it out the park. Wow. It's such a difference having resources and connecting with people.
And you use those resources?
All the time. Okay. Connecting is so important. Like even going to networking events and putting myself out there. Just knowing how you, and we can talk about this in another topic, but knowing your brand, your business, how you want to present yourself and the clients you want to go for, that also helps you eliminate that imposter syndrome. True. Because you just get out of all that fluff and go right to the meat and potatoes.
Right, because you're staying comfortable in what you do know.
Exactly.
And you have a marketing background. Yeah. She has a marketing degree. So at least you can kind of build up on that to say, look, I know this.
Yes.
And this is what I can share with you. Yes. So if you want this for your business, and then we can branch off and do this,
yes.
I'm the right person for that job. And that kind of builds your confidence as well. So
exactly.
very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think we pretty much talked on it and have our say and some.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we definitely want to hear from you. Have you ever felt that you just weren't good enough? You know, that you didn't know how to go out there and get that first client, you know, or put your work out there, or felt that there's absolutely no way that you can learn this program, you know? Because I'm more of a traditional student, you know, I like chalkboard and blackboards, you know?
I always have my notebook.
Okay, and you know, and some people are able to learn online, but just let us know how you feel. Comment down. We'll definitely respond to you, and we just want to have an open dialogue and hopefully, you know, be able to get you over that hump and build up your confidence. So, I mean, you know what we say here at the Chill Code Corner.
Today it was sharing is caring.
Oh, sharing is caring.
I like that one today. Sharing is caring. So share, because we care. But yes.
But I mean, for us, it's just mainly, you know, be consistent and
do a little something every day.
You're watching
Chill Code Corner.
Bye, guys.
Bye.